Hi, this is Frank Buck, and this is the place to be if you want to get organized and make it look easy. What? Google Photos isn't free anymore? What am I going to do? That's what we're going to be talking about today. For a long time, I felt that my digital photos weren't nearly as organized as other areas of my life. Well, that situation changed overnight with Google Photos. Well, Google Photos is in the news because of a change in its policy. It will no longer be free for unlimited storage. You may have already heard something about it. Like any other service which has been free and begins to charge, confusion arises. Well, today we'll look at why Google Photos is still the best place to house those digital treasures. If you aren't familiar with Google Photos, go to the text of the blog post. I have a link to a post that I did that gives you the basics. For starters, if you're saying, well, I don't even have Google Photos, you probably do. If you have a Google account, you have Google Photos. Log into your Google account and go to photos.google.com and you're there. You can start dragging photos into it today. Well, a change is coming on June 1st, 2021. Google gives you 15 gigabytes of free storage. Well, there's no change there. To this point, Google Photos storage has been unlimited. It did not count against your 15 gigabytes. But starting June 1st, 2021, new Google Photos, along with new Google Docs, new Google Sheets, new Google Slides, new Google Forms, and new Jamboards will count against the limit. Notice the word new. Everything that you stored to this point remains free. Anything you upload by June 1st will be free and will not count against your 15 gigabytes of free storage. So here's the strategy I suggest. If the change only applies to what you upload starting June 1st, now's the time to jump into Google Photos with both feet. Identify the photos that you stored on your computer in flash drives. Drag them into Google Photos. Use the Google Photos app to upload pictures stored on your phone. The blog post I mentioned earlier includes a 21-minute video that walks you through everything step by step. Over the next 6 months, upload every photo you've got and take plenty more. You will have downloaded the Google Photos app to your phone, and the photos you take are automatically uploaded to your Google Photos in the cloud. They'll be available from any computer where you're logged into your Google account. So gone are the days when you were worried about photos taking up space on your phone, and gone are the days when if you lost your phone, you lost your treasured photos. After June 1, it will probably take you years to reach your 15 gigabytes limit. Every digital photo I have is in Google Photos, and it only comes to 1.89 gigabytes. Want to know how much storage you've used with Google Photos, Gmail, or Google Drive? Well, in the text of the blog post, I've included links that will tell you that. And if you do need more space, I have a link that will tell you very quickly and easily how to get some. Just in case you do go over your limit and need to buy more, guess how much it's going to cost you? A whopping $1.99 a month for 100 gigabytes of storage. Pay for the whole year at once and you get a discount, $20 for the whole 12 months. You can hardly take the family to McDonald's one time for that. For more information directly from Google, there's another link in the blog post that's going to give that to you. Now, here's my own workflow when it comes to digital photos. On my phone, you'll find both a Google Photos app and a Dropbox app. Every photo that I take uploads to both places. That built-in redundancy lends peace of mind that if something happened, those photos are safe somewhere else. So let's talk about the function of Dropbox. Specifically, in my Dropbox account, you would see a folder called Camera Uploads. It's nothing more than a dump of every photo that I take. The good photos and the duds wind up there together, and there's nothing organized about it. In my overall workflow, Dropbox in general functions as a place for those things which represent a work in progress. Supporting material for current projects lives in Dropbox. When I attach a file to a task in Remember the Milk, it's automatically stored in a folder called Remember the Milk within Dropbox. That's a feature that you get with the Pro plan for Remember the Milk. Periodically, I go to that camera uploads folder, organize, and empty it. I begin by looking at the photos and deleting the duds and the photos which closely duplicate each other. I label each of the remaining photos and then I drag the photos to their proper folders in OneDrive. I'm finished when the camera uploads folder is empty. Now let's talk about OneDrive. In my workflow, OneDrive is the filing cabinet. You'll find a logical folder structure. The items there consist of reference information. So in my OneDrive, you would find a folder called Pictures. Within that folder, you would find many subfolders. In the blog post, I list some of those. In all, there are 264 such subfolders in that Pictures folder. Prepending the folder with a year lends some sense of chronological order to the whole thing. With Dropbox open on one side of my screen and OneDrive open on the other side, I simply drag photos from Dropbox to their appropriate folders in OneDrive. And now Google Photos. Every photo that I take automatically uploads from the Google Photos app to my Google Photos account. One of my once a month repeating tasks is to look at Google Photos and organize the recently added photos. Again, I delete the duds and the duplicates and label things as needed. Some photos are okay to just leave as singletons in chronological order because the search capabilities make it so easy to find what I need. If I need to manually create an album or drag individual photos into an existing album, I do so at this point. So now let's talk about a day in the life of Google Photos. 2 months ago, my wife and I took a week-long trip to Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina. When we returned, there was really no organizing of the pictures from the trip. The Google Photos app on my phone uploaded all of those photos to my account. Now, because the phone was with me the whole time, as I moved from place to place, my phone knew where I was. My phone knew the location of every one of those pictures. So, first of all, it figured I had gone on a trip, and Google Photos created and named an album for that trip. It put the start and end dates, and it put every photo from the trip in there and did so miraculously. Not only that, but there were little sections throughout there. Photos that I took at the bed and breakfast where we stayed the first night. Well, there was a little section already named for that. And when we went and visited a museum and then we visited a beach, well, Google Photos created a little section for each of those, named it appropriately. I didn't have to do any of that. It saved me tons of work. Easily shareable with someone else. And then if I ever wanted a hard copy photo album of that trip, it's ridiculously easy to do it through Google Photos. It'll start by suggesting the photos to you, and you can just swap out the ones where you didn't like their suggestions. And one of the neat things about Google Photos is the way that it delights you. Things like creating little video compilations of photos, sometimes even with music, and presenting them for my approval just as an added perk. Every few days, Google presents me with memories from past years. And if I'm interested in seeing photos of a particular person, all I have to do is search for the name. Google Photos finds every photo of that person, even if it's in a group shot from a high school reunion many years ago. You know, if the grocery store announced that freshly baked bread would be sold for a nickel a loaf, we'd be flocking to the store and clearing the shelves. But if the same bread had always been free and was now going to sell for a nickel, well, some people will be up in arms and looking for an alternative for making a sandwich. It's the same here. I'm already seeing alternatives to Google Photos articles. Once upon a time, my digital photos reminded me of a junk drawer. Today, the collection is amazing. And it's all been free to this point. And to June 1st, it's going to continue to be free. And until I reach my 15 gigabytes, it's going to continue to be free after that. And you know what? At that point, I'll pony up the $1.99 a month with no batting of an eye. Google Photos has made enjoying my photos so much easier. And when we ask the question, why get organized? The answer has much to do with being able to enjoy what we have. And if you've enjoyed this video, how about giving it a thumbs up and take a look at these other two videos. And speaking of enjoying, I bet there are a lot of videos that are on this channel that you're going to enjoy and that are going to make your life easier. Thanks for watching this one. This has been Frank Buck, helping you get organized and make it look easy.